To talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody. It is 2.5 days to D-Day. And if you're driving around in your car on this beautiful sunlit day and you haven't filed and you've been thinking about it and you say, I'll do it Monday, do it Monday. But I will tell you, get ready on Sunday so at least you know what you have to do. It was interesting. The other day I read an article. The IRS was down as of April the 6th, 2 million tax returns. So it looks like a late filing season. And I will tell you, we have been really, really busy. And I have Tiffany Fabian here.
Hey there, Esther.
Hey, Tiffy. It's so great, to be out of the studio at 2.5 days until April the 18th. For those of you that don't know it, April the 18th is the due date of the return. The 15th was Emancipation Day in Washington. They can't close tax season over the weekend. So that gives everybody an extra 3 days to pay their liability, 3 days to get their taxes in. And I will tell you, all of our offices are open tonight till 9. The only office that's open on Sunday is our McKinley Mall office. They'll handle you if you want to get it done on Sunday. But on Monday, we will be there bell to bell, and we will get it done. So if you haven't gotten it done, we certainly will. But I wanted to tell some kind of interesting stories. I thought it would be interesting for people to see some of the people that come in this time of year, because it really is a unique breed of people that really wait for the end. Obviously, there's some people that go, I don't know what happened to the year. It got away for me, which is true, because normally they might be February or March people. But one lady that came in yesterday, she came in with her son, and she closed the door. And she said, I haven't filed in 11 years, and I'm so afraid of what I'm going to owe. And I said, have they been writing you letters? She said, no, they haven't been And I said, oh, that's even worse than I thought. If they aren't writing you letters and you've had income, that means you have refunds coming.
Right.
And they're keeping your money. And she said, you got to be kidding. Well, yes, the 15th was yesterday. So I hurried up and did the 15th, the 12th, 2012 return first, because I knew it closed on the 15th.
Right.
And she got a $2,000 refund. So we calculated she left $20,000 on the table the last 10 years.
Oh, my God.
And they get to keep your money.
Oh, yeah, not
so
good.
if you're out there and you have been working, or you got income and they've been taking out taxes and they're not writing you, that's not good, because after 3 years they get to seize all your refunds. You don't you kind of shot yourself in the foot.
Actually, that reminds me. So any amendments for 12 had to be done yesterday. That's
Right.
Yep.
I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. If you have any of your own little war stories, maybe when you were doing your when you were doing your own return, you said, oh my gosh, I forgot this or that. Another story today, I had a lovely lady that came in, and she didn't like what the bank sent her, that the bank had sent her a 1099 with all the interest on it, and she didn't want to put it on her return. She wanted me to write this elaborate letter to the Internal Revenue explaining that what they had on the 1099 wasn't correct. Well, first of all, they don't read the letters. It's all electronic. They don't read the letters. Number two, what's on the 1099, you better put on your tax return. So if you're somebody that's gotten 1099s and the broker has liquidated your stocks and you don't think it should be there, they're going to send you a bill.
Right. Or else
they
get
are
it corrected.
going to send you a bill.
Yep.
So you have to deal with what's on there first. You have to put it on, because they have this computer that matches everything that they got with what you put on your return.
Yep.
You vary, and they're going to send you a bill.
Yep. The only thing you might want to do is put it on your return, and if you can get a corrected 1099, if you
Right.
really
well, the
believe.
thing is, she knew the old law that says that interest wasn't taxable on your CD until it matured. But that isn't the case anymore. So, I'm going to just tell you, if you don't want to get those little love letters in the summertime or the fall or whenever they'll be coming out shortly, believe me, you want to make sure that everything that you've got in your 1099s and your 1099Rs and your W-2s match what you put on the return. If you have a brokerage statement and it said that they liquidated stocks, if you got a 1099B, that means they did. And you can say to yourself, I don't think they did. We didn't take the money.
Or so many people say it was
went somewhere
transferred.
else, or it got transferred. It still has to be reported.
Correct.
And so your tax return is not only getting the lowest taxes, but it's also making sure you're bulletproof, you're audit proof.
That's right. Yep. Very, very important. Yesterday, I took care of a client who hadn't filed her corporate returns in several years, and so she kept on taking draws out of the account, and so that's self-employment tax. And so when we did her personal return, she owed a lot of money in self-employment tax because of the business.
Yep. I mean, you have to really, really, really be careful. I mean, your tax return is you want to make sure that everything that you do isn't just what you think it should be, but what it actually should be.
Yeah.
So things we want to talk about, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. 3 days left. Monday the 18th is the deadline till 9 o'clock at night. Want to talk about love letters. If you're getting love letters, if you're getting a letter from the IRS, open it up and deal with it.
Yep, that's right. Don't just pay it. I can't tell you how many people I talked to, they just pay it. There was somebody yesterday who got a letter from the IRS that there was a cancellation of debt that they didn't include, and so they just paid it. But the truth is, if she was insolvent and we could have done the insolvency, the 982, she might not have had to declare it.
That's exactly right, because the way you handle it has a lot to do with whether it's going to be taxable or not,
right?
Because there may be a loophole.
Yep.
Wait, there's a friend I was just talking about. I gotta get him first. We got Larry from Georgia. Hey, Larry.
Hey, darling, I tell you, I'm speaking to the two most beautiful tax ladies in the world.
Hey, Larry, what's happening?
Listen, there, I'm gonna be filing an extension right now. Shortly, I just too much pressure to get it to you guys as soon as so. I need to ask you, what advice can you give me about filing an extension, and then I will send my paperwork to you.
You know what I think, Larry? Could you email us your information so we can do a preliminary, so we know how much to send with the 4868?
So we can do the extension.
So that we can do the extension, so that you aren't going to be penalized later.
Okay. So what information should I guess maybe?
Well, I mean, I need to know all of your. Your
money
your money in and your money out, pretty much. And this way, we'll compute what we anticipate what your liability is going to be, so we can do the extension for you.
Okay, but I have to send it a check. So
No. What we'll do is we'll take it out of your checking account. We'll debit it. We'll debit it for you on Monday.
And actually, anybody who's listening, you ask a really good question. When you do an extension, you actually have to know what your liability might be or might nearly be. And so we need from Larry all his money and where his liability will be, because he's got to mail
because
that
I
in
know
with
you
the
sold a
extension.
lot of stock last year, didn't you, Larry?
That's right. I had a lot of losses.
See,
that's right.
okay. Well, if you got losses, then that's going to be easy, because if you had net losses, then we can just take the $3,000 against the other income. $3,000 loss. So that'll be pretty easy to determine. And then we'll take a look at what your withholding was on some of your 1099s and stuff from your pension plans. But if you get us that, we'll do the extension for you, and you may not owe anything at all. We can do the extension without sending any money in at all.
Okay, now, do I need to send you also my 1099s too, Esther, for the extension?
No, all I need to know is the amount on the 1099 and the withholding.
Okay. I'll work on that. Esther, dear. And Tiffany, thank you so much.
All right,
Thanks,
Larry.
Larry.
Bye-bye.
Email the information over to Chris and I, and we'll get it done for you.
That's right. And I will tell you, that's something that we can do. We can really put the pedal to the metal, because we will get it done.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. So we got a 2.5 day deadline up ahead of us, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your calls. 8030930 star 930 on a cell phone. We'll talk to you in a minute.
the sun.
I need some relaxing
Isn't this
music.
nice?
I don't know why I didn't come.
That's Nora Jones. Now, I see that's the kind of music I like.
All right.
I like that kind of music.
It's a little softer, a little
Oh,
slower.
I tell you, she sings like she's sleeping.
Well,
Yeah.
When I listen to her, I can't imagine her mouth even moving because she she's so mellow. So that's Nora Jones.
Well, I
love
had a
Nora.
client in my office yesterday, and she sells oils, and so she had these oils all over her my table, and she said, "This is a relaxing oil." And it did smell really well. I mean,
Did you
just
relax?
this time of year, I need some relaxing oils.
No, you need to get things done right now. All right, so Mr. Goliath from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. If you saw the other day on Channel 7, it just so happened that our receptionist who makes appointments, Debbie Dushnik, had just gotten one of those scam calls from the Internal Revenue Service. And if you've gotten it, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the Internal Revenue Service, but it was somebody that called and said that they were going to arrest her unless she paid $5,000. And right after that, and she knew it was a scam because she works for us. And 5 minutes later, Channel 7 called and said, we would like to do a story on scams. Have you know anybody that's gotten the scam call? She said, I did. I just got it 5 minutes ago. So off they trucked down to the office,
corporate office,
and they said, don't call back, do it in front of us. So she made the phone call, and so that they could tape the whole thing,
Right.
and called this guy that said he was from the Internal Revenue Service, and he gave his ID number, and he said that he was going to come down and arrest her and all this stuff, and it was remarkable. And so she played with him for like 20 minutes, and then she said, and by the way, you're being recorded right now, and you're going to be shown on Buffalo TV on the ABC
Right.
network. And then he turned
hostile.
sexual.
Really?
And he said he was going to come. He knew where she lived. He gave her address, and he said that he was going to come and rape her.
That's just.
I mean, you cannot. I don't know if I can say that. I'm good. Okay. So, but anyway,
That's scary.
But this is just to let you know that if you get a call and somebody says they're from the Internal Revenue Service, do not pay them and hang up.
And
on
I
them.
think the scariest thing is they know your address, they know your name, and it's very intimidating.
Yeah, the IRS doesn't do that. So if you're
No.
somebody that's has been scammed by these people, don't pay them. Another taxpayer yesterday said that he was shopping with his grandma, and she wanted to go to Walmart because she needed those cash cards so she could pay the IRS. And so she was a victim of that. So
no.
if you feel like this is something weird, we're open during the off season, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So you can always call us and we'll help you. We'll do a three-way with the FBI. Yesterday I had an FBI person in, and I said, what are you doing
About this?
It's really difficult because these people are mostly offshore.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the phones. Again, Esther Goliath from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we're going to Mr. Jim in West Seneca. Mr. Jim, how can we help you?
Esther, at the beginning of the program, you mentioned briefly about interest on CDs now being taxed.
Right.
Is that for every CD?
Yeah, I mean, as your income is being earned, it is taxable as it's being earned.
I thought it a month I thought it was at the end.
No,
when you
actually-
cash it in.
no. Mm-mm.
No.
Now, there are some zero coupon bonds, and there are some U.S. savings bonds that get taxed at the end. But on a CD, when it's accruing interest, the bank is going to send you a 1099.
What if they didn't?
Well, if they didn't and it was under $10, that might be why they haven't.
No, I believe it's more than that. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, but if it's very low, if it's low interest, which, let's face it, in most situations it is, that might be why they didn't send you anything. But see, as the interest is being accrued, it's taxable. It isn't taxable at the end. And depending upon whether it's a zero coupon bond or a bond where you pay $3,000, but it's worth $5,000 at the end, and that's when the interest is taxable. But OIDs are even taxable as it's accruing. So
You mentioned banks. How about credit unions? Is
and
that
same
all
thing.
true
No,
for them
it's
too?
as you earn it, it's it's taxable. Then when you cash it in, it's already been taxed.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jim. Have a
Bye-bye.
glorious day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I think
I'm
everybody's
just so
enjoying
happy.
the
I'm
sunshine.
just so happy. There's sun outside, and God's in his heaven, and everything's right with the world, and we've got 2.5 days till tax season's over, and we're going to go back to Jan in Rochester. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Esther.
How are you?
I'm okay.
What can we do
for you?
Yeah.
Ordinarily, when you get a state refund, the check payment will indicate the tax year for it.
Right.
And in February of 2016, we received a property tax freeze credit check.
Right.
Generally, that when you receive the funds, that tax year is when you report it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no indication of anything on the form that accompanies the check.
That property tax freeze credit was for 2015 tax year, but you didn't receive it till 2016. So if you're an itemizer, you're just going to back off the amount of property taxes that you paid
on your 2016 return.
Say that again, please.
Okay, so let's just say that in 2016 you got $100 from the state of New York, okay?
Right.
And your property taxes are $3,000
right.
that you paid, and you itemize.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can take as an itemized deduction is $2,900.
Okay, so there's no place on the state return that
no, it's not the state. It's an itemized deduction.
Right.
If you're a non-itemizer, you can forget the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, it's so nice that they make it so clear. What would we do without you, Esther?
Thank you, Jan.
Okay, bye-bye.
Right, have a great day. I'm Esther Gulliason, tax lady from EG Tax. If you haven't filed, you got to come see us. We will take care of whatever your muddled messes are. And don't be ashamed. That lady yesterday with the 11 years returns,
right.
When she walked out of my office, she said, I always hated when it was April the 15th because every year I was so guilty, but I was so afraid about all the money I owed. And she says, I just feel so good. She says, I feel so clean, because that's it, that obligation,
That's
okay, right. Other things, love letters, like Tiffany said, if you get a love letter, don't pay it right away. Always get a second opinion. Most of the love letters are really, all they are is the IRS matching up what they got with what you put on your return. And if you're somebody that was like this lovely lady who didn't think she wanted to claim the interest on her CDs, if you're somebody that didn't report the sale of your stock because you thought you really never sold it,
right.
even though the broker sent it to the IRS, the IRS is going to send you a bill for that.
Right.
And so at that point in time, you get another whack at the piñata, and you can fix it.
That's right. That's
so,
right.
But if you pay it,
don't just pay it. Don't just have a second opinion. It doesn't take long. It's free of charge. Fax it to us, mail it to us, get it to us.
We'll help you. Then the other thing is, you want to make sure that if you're somebody that has owed money right now, you want to take a look at your W-4s and your W-2. You want to change your W-4 at work if you're under withholding. And, if you owe more than $1,000, what happens? You're going to owe
a penalty.
Penalties.
Generally.
So a gentleman yesterday owed $12,000. Everybody's owing yesterday and today. He owed $12,000. And he says, I said, you really should change your withholding at work. And he said, I think I'm just going to pay every year. He says, it doesn't cost me anything. And I said, oh, yeah, it does. It's costing you a $200 penalty. And he said, what? I said, yeah.
Sucks.
I said, well, yes, you. In essence, you're taxing yourself by using your own money.
Right.
And he said, oh, I didn't know that, so I set him up on estimates.
Right.
So that he isn't going to be penalized.
Before I left the office, unfortunately, a man's wife had passed away, and so every year now it looks like he's going to owe. And so he doesn't want to change his pension withholdings. He doesn't want to change his Social Security. So I gave him estimates.
Right.
It's whatever you like.
Right, whatever you like. And let's go back to the phone. We got Margie from Niagara County. Hey, Marge.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you in regard to your, you were just talking about the IRS scams. This past week, I've gotten 3 different calls from them. And I
Well, you know
haven't
they're not the
answered
IRS so much, right?
it. Yeah, I know, but
Okay.
why would they call me, 3 times?
Margie,
And
they
said
want
they
you
had
to
a
pay.
lawsuit against me. I did report the numbers to the National Do Not Call list.
Good.
Yeah, but you see, these people are crooks. So I don't think that they care that you're putting them on the National Do Not Call list, because they're just looking for vulnerable people who really want to comply, don't want to get into trouble, and they're just calling 1,000 people in a day, and if they get 10 people to give them $3,000, they're happy. They made $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're
And I think
crooks.
they do
These
this,
are crooks.
Yeah, I think they do it more around tax time because they know
Sure.
people have filed or will be
That's true.
filing.
I'll tell you, they all summer long they've been doing it, but it's been especially egregious lately. So the best thing to do is just hang up on them and don't fall prey to their schemes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
And tell others.
Yep.
Okay, and
That's
tell
what I
everybody
do.
you know, Margie, and to do the
Okay,
same.
thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Marge.
And it's really important
Yeah.
because you know somebody isn't going to, I'm not going to say to you, wow, they're going to come and arrest me this
Yes,
afternoon.
right.
It's not what you would call your
Yeah.
friends because you think you really did do something
Or if
wrong.
they say, I've got a warrant for you, like Margie said, that's terrifying. So it's really important that you just do the right thing and make a phone call. And the do not call list was good, but
Well, I mean, but these are crooks, and they're probably in Bangladesh or something. I don't think they really are checking the list once or twice.
no, they're
So,
criminals.
okay, the other thing is identity theft. If you've done your own return and it rejected, you're probably a victim of identity theft. That meant that the return's already been filed by somebody else, and so you want to make sure that you get your PIN number so next year when you file electronically, the return will go through. And you want to make sure you get to the IRS because that your return has to go in paper.
Right.
It can't go electronically.
You have to do an affidavit form, and there's an IRS affidavit form. You can find it on their website, and it's really important that you follow the steps that they said. And there's, of course, other reasons that your return might reject, too, if somebody else
So
claimed one of
we're
your
going to
kids.
take a short break for the news. I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll talk to you about identity theft and other things on the other side of the news. Thanks.
I've got you deep in the heart of me.
Now, isn't that kind of nice music?
It is. It's too slow for me, though.
Well, I like fast music too, but
I'm going to find you
when
something
got
good for the
2.5
next one.
days of tax season left, and you've been working 14 hours a day, I could just see me with a cup of coffee, feet up on a desk,
That sounds nice.
I want to go watch a movie is what I want to do. And popcorn, soda.
Gallon of wine.
A gallon of wine? Wow. I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady from EG Tax. Hey, we got 2.5 days, and even though that music was mellow, we will get it done. So if you haven't filed or you got problems, you just give us a call because EG Tax is open 9 to 9 tonight. Our McKinley Mall office is the only office open tomorrow, and we will hit the decks running on Monday. So no matter what, we will get it done. So let's go to the phones, and we got Mr. Ron from Cheektowaga. Hey, Mr. Ron, how can we help you?
Hello, Miss.
Esther.
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen, I heard you guys complaining about not being able to go to movies. Go ahead, I'll cover for you.
All right. Thanks.
I'm going to take you up on it.
Okay. Quick question. If you have a refund coming,
Yep.
do you have to file by the drop dead date of the 18th?
No, you don't. And see, just like I said, my story, I had a client yesterday that hadn't filed for 11 years, and she had refunds coming, and so she lost about $20,000 in refunds because after 3 years of not filing, they keep your refund.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to.
You don't have to
No
file.
penalty.
The penalties are based upon the balance due. If you don't have a balance due, they don't care if you ever file, Ron.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Good question.
Bye-bye. Good question. And we're going to go to, you can't believe this, but this is another Ron. Hey, Mr. Ron, how are you?
Hello.
How are you, sir? How can we help you?
Well, about 3 months ago, I mailed my state return in, and I still haven't received my return. And when I call the number, it just tells me that it needs more review, and they have up to 90 days.
Then that's exactly right. By June the 1st, if they don't have your return in, they would have to pay you interest, and it's remarkable. We'll get all these phone calls just before June the 1st, and people will say, "Where's my money?" And then June 1st, everybody gets their money.
Yeah,
so you can call their number and you can talk to them, but really they just are slow in getting refunds out.
Yeah, but Ron, I got to tell you from personal experience, about 3 years ago, mine was under review for New York, and I've had other clients. And actually, when it goes to that review process, I have discovered that generally they're wanting more information. For me, they wanted information about my business expenses. So do you have a lot of expenses on a Schedule A or anything like that?
No, it's just itemized.
Okay.
Well, but itemized,
Is what I'm talking
large
about.
itemized deductions, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, they could be wanting to audit you.
That's
so
what
you
they
might
did.
want to do is give them a call and find out what items are at issue, because if they are really holding it up for review, it might be that they're going to send you a letter and say, we need this, we need that, we need this and that, and you can get things ready for them to prove it.
Okay, because I was wondering if it was because of a recent marriage or...
No, if it's large itemized deductions, they could be holding it up for that. So the phone number, it's
518-457-5181.
Yeah, I'm driving right now, so I can't write that down.
Yeah,
but I'll have
don't
to
crash
call
the
you
car.
and
Yeah,
get
because
that
but you can go to their website and the phone number's there, and they're
Okay.
actually pretty good about it, answering the phone.
All right.
All right, thank you,
very
sir.
much. You have a great day.
Yeah,
You
but
too.
nothing
Bye-bye.
about getting married. That wouldn't be
No,
the reason.
getting
Nope.
married would not have anything to do with it.
Nope.
Usually. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to go. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We're going to Mr. Sam in Cheektowaga. Hi, Sam. How can we help you?
Good. How you doing, Esther?
Good.
I have a question for you. I bought a house like 4 years ago, and I bought it and I fixed it up. And as I was fixing it up, I decided to rent it out. And I rented it for a couple of years, and then having trouble finding people to rent. So I fixed it up more, and then I sold it. Now, as far as the money that I sold it for versus, I do remodeling that. So am I able to claim any of my labor for any of the work that I did on the house?
No, your own personal labor that you did not, obviously you didn't pay yourself. Your own personal labor is not deductible. And when you sell rental property, you have to you have to recapture the depreciation that you claimed. So if you paid $100,000 for the house and you've been writing it off at $3,600 a year for 10 years, that's $36,000 in depreciation that reduced your cost basis. So when you sell it, that $36,000 becomes like additional income on the sale. So that's a $47.97 sale. So you just don't sell it on a Schedule D, you sell it on a $47.97.
So you sell it on a $47.97?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then as far as like the taxes I paid during them years and all that kind of stuff?
The taxes you paid were deductible if they were rental property, were deducted as you rented the property out.
Okay.
On the Schedule
You don't
E.
get to take it again.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930. I want to talk about some more things with identity theft, and I know we have people waiting here. Especially if you've done your own return and it rejected, don't assume that they got it. If it says it rejected, it means that they're not processing the return. So what you do is you take that return, you make a copy of it, you attach your W-2s and send it in paper. Then what will happen is the Internal Revenue Service is going to hand process that return. And if it was due to identity theft, they will probably contact you and say that we believe you're a victim of identity theft, and they're going to have to determine which of the two returns they got were legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to the whole thing about if you're getting large refunds and with all the identity theft problems that they're having at the Internal Revenue Service, perhaps what you want to do is change your W-4 so you don't get such a large refund, because you don't want your refund to be held up to July or August or September. If you become a victim of identity theft, you want to have as much money as you possibly can up front.
That's right, throughout the year, instead of waiting on them when there could be a snafu.
Right. And so all you need to do is change your W-4. So if you're somebody right now that finds out that you have a big balance due, you want to change your W-4 and claim less allowances. But if you're somebody that's got a great big refund, you want to claim more allowances.
Correct.
Right?
That's precisely right.
All right. And the other thing is you want to make sure that now that tax season's almost over, that you have a good tax plan in place. Right?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. And there's a lot of changes, too. And so now's a good time to open up the window to see what 2016 might look like, you know?
Like, obviously, the easiest thing to do if you're an employee and there's an employer plan, make sure you go in Monday and sign up for your pension plan, especially if there's an employer match. You are absolutely throwing money away. And those of you that listen faithfully, you know that it's if they'll do a 3% match and your wages are $30,000, that means that they're going to give you $900. You're just throwing it away if you don't put $900 in your plan.
And so that's another important thing, is making that call to the human resources and finding out what they will match, and making the call and adding on 401k money to your
plan. All right,
plan.
we're going to go to the phones, and we made Mr. Carl wait so long. Hey, Carl, how can we help you? I'm Esther Gullius.
Esther, I have a problem that you, I think, already answered with the previous caller, Ron. I filed electronically March 5th, and I still didn't get my return. Is
federal or state, Carl?
Pardon me?
Federal or state?
Federal.
Federal. All right. Now, he didn't get his state return. The state holds up refunds pretty regularly until the beginning of June, but the federal is pretty pronto and quicko. Have you gone online to check the status of your return on the IRS website?
No.
All right. What I'd suggest you do is go, "Where's my refund?" on the IRS website, and you plug in your Social Security number, your filing status, and the exact amount of the refund due. And then what they'll tell you is what status that your return is in. In the event that they say that they don't have the return, that means maybe perhaps it rejected. So you want to make sure you check that out as soon as possible.
Carl, did you file your return electronically?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
yeah, go online and go to the IRS.gov. Where's my refund?
Could I check this out with my tax preparer, because I don't have a computer?
Yeah, you can also call
yeah.
right now 1-800-829-1040, and there's an automated system where you put in your social right now today, and you can check on it even though they're closed. So you can call 1-800-829-1040 and check on the status.
Let's give you that number really again slow. It's 1-800-829, which is tax, 1040.
And you can check
now.
And then,
thank you, Esther.
Okay, Carl?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Yeah, because, you're wait. Now, I will tell you the other thing is, if you were somebody that had Obamacare and you had been getting a subsidy, they're holding a lot of those things up to match up the 1095A with what was reported on the tax return. So if you're somebody that filed earlier and before you got the 1095A form, they're absolutely holding them up, because they and when you think about it, it's so sad. People didn't get those things till the end of February, beginning of March, and all those returns were filed, and many of them had subsidies, and they're being held up. Right? Anyway, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your phone calls on the other side. Oh, that man.
Now you're not going to be able to go back to work.
I love Andrea Bocelli. See, this is the kind of songs we need. We don't need like the Rolling Apricots or whatever you have.
You love making fun of my musical choice.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Tyler Samer always listens to. But today we did Estragolius music.
It's a nice change.
It is a nice change. But next week we'll go back to fast music.
You're getting some weird stuff next week, that's for sure.
That's good. Anyway, I'm Estragolius, the tax lady. 2.5 days. EG Tax will help you. And in the meantime, if you want to give us a call, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And Mr. Ed has been waiting so long. Hey, Mr. Ed, how can we help you?
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I was in your office today on the Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that first that I had 5 years of taxes to do, and Linda was awesome.
Aw.
Did a fantastic job for me.
Which did you see, Karen? Are you
Linda.
sure? Linda.
Linda.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
And I came in with a disaster, and she really helped me out.
Oh, that's great. And do you feel good now?
Oh, a big weight off my shoulders.
I feel good. Da 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 da. Right?
That's
But,
good news.
I forgot to ask her because I was so excited that I got everything done. I owe about $27,000.
Oh, Mamma Mia. Okay. But
I
you
thought
know,
it was
do
a
you
lot
have?
worse,
But
but
Ed,
that's
you got the ability to pay it?
No, I was going to ask her about setting up a loan with the government. How do you do something like that?
All right. So there's for people that end up owing a lot of money who have the inability to pay for it. And now you don't have any assets, Ed? Do you own a home?
I do own a home in that.
Is it paid for?
It's not fully paid for, no.
Is there equity in the house?
Probably close to what I owe.
Okay. And are you a working gentleman?
Yes.
So, do you have a fairly healthy financial picture except for this?
Well, I went through a divorce and all that, so it's not the best. But
okay, so what we can do is something called an offer in compromise, where we basically say to the Internal Revenue Service, "Here's Ed, here's his assets, here's his monthly outlay. It would be a hardship if he had to take all the equity out of his house to pay the taxes." And we basically make them an offer of what you think you can pay. That is an option. And so you basically negotiate down the balance due. And that's something you do after they send you all your bills.
You have to have everything filed before you can do that.
We need the last 3 months of your expenses and all of your assets, and we'll submit that to the IRS and see if they won't take a settlement.
But there's other things you can do too. You can maybe do an uncollectible status. You can also do a Form 9465, which is an installment payment agreement. So there's different options, Ed.
Right. But the installment agreement, you're going to end up paying substantial penalties and interest on that. So if I was going to go the route where we look at your stuff and we see that you can pay, I would suggest you do a home equity, because the home equity would be at 3% and tax deductible, whereas if you use the IRS's payment program, at the end it'll be more like 25-26%. So, and it won't be
really?
deductible.
But
the bottom line is, so we did the first step today. We got you walking in the sunshine. Then the next step is, once you get those bills, come in and we'll work on trying to get it all whittled out for you, okay?
Okay, because I could always borrow off my 401k too.
And you can also borrow against your 401k. That would be really great. If you have the ability to pay, they won't take the offer and compromise. So if you have the ability to pay, and then that way, if you borrow against your 401k, you pay yourself back.
Right.
You know, so that would be great. That sounds like a plan.
Now, can I get this set up right at the office? If
Sure.
I came in and...
That office on Niagara Falls Boulevard is open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So when you start getting your bills, we'll sit down with you and try to figure out what's the best way for you to settle your tax liability.
Fine.
All right?
Sounds great.
Thanks, Ed.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I know how he feels. It's great to get that
It's like
weight.
cutting off that weight.
It really is.
lugging
You know,
around.
it's something about knowing.
Yes.
It's something about knowing. You can deal with what you know, and what you don't know really can be very scary. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930 star 930 and a cell phone. Okay,
see, another thing is he thought it was much worse. See,
most people do think it's much worse.
You just got to face it.
Right, you do have to face it, and we'll help you face it. Tax planning. If your situation is changing, if you're getting married, that's should you file jointly, separately? Are you getting divorced?
Yep.
If you're in the middle, if you can get your divorce, if you're in the middle of a divorce, obviously, if you can get it done before December 31st, it's in your best interest to get it done before the end of the year. If you're having new child, and mommy's pregnant, next year you're going to have the $1,000 child tax credit. Or if you have children turning 17, it's not like your child isn't your dependent anymore, but there's a child tax credit when you have a child under the age of 17.
Right.
That goes away when
right.
if you have a teenager that is turning 17 this year, you don't get to allocate that $1,000. It's just absolutely gone. So that's part of your tax plan. You want to make sure that you're aware of that. You have children going to college. That's a big change.
Right. Or you mentioned somebody having new children, and so if they're going to pay for childcare, there's a child independent care credit, and so you want to plan for all these
And
life
I will tell you,
events.
it's much better to do the child independent care through your employer at work because you get a better bang for your buck as opposed to paying it outright, right?
And getting the credit.
Right.
Yep.
And so, a child going to college, there's the American Opportunity Tax Credit for the first 4 years of continuing education, and the fifth year won't count. At the end of 4 years, it then becomes the lifetime learning credit.
Yeah. But don't forget to do the New York credit, which is the IT 214,
And
so
again, that's IT 214.
Oh, sorry. I'm yep. Sleep is something that is not optimal right now.
So that's another thing. And so all these things have to do with how much refund you're going to get next year, how much withholding you want to do. What if you're a parent and your child moves back home?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
I mean, and if your child is going to college and they're going to be a dependent, you're going to get the child tax credit. They could be an adult child that's unable to work. Maybe you have, as a matter of fact, in my office today, I had 2 children that they're both on Social Security disability, and they live with their dad who's elderly. Their dad's like 80, and the children are like 40 and 50.
Right.
And the father then became head of the household again, and so here he is in this, where you would think in the golden years of your life, now he's supporting his children again because life happens.
Watch it all the time.
And when life happens, it affects your tax return.
And so you got to adjust and re-examine and reassess and plan.
Or maybe mom came to live with you. Maybe you're a child and your parent came to live with you, and all they have is Social Security. And when you figure out the cost of your average cost of your house and household expenses, you can claim your parent.
Yeah, I've discovered so much when you're sitting there with the client. You just like unpeel the layers and the levels. There was a client that I had, and come to find out she was the mom and she was in the home, but her husband was estranged, but she never wanted to tell me. And so head of household was a better answer than the other filing status. And so you just got to really examine each situation.
It's like peeling back an onion, right? Mm-hmm. And because your life situation affects your tax return.
Right.
Another thing, death in the family. That's such a sad thing. I just had a gentleman that was in this afternoon before I came down to the station here, and his wife passed away in 2012. So in 2012, he filed jointly. In 2013, he was qualifying widower. 2014, he was qualifying widower, but it is now the 2015 return. You can only take qualifying widower for 2 years. He became head of the household. And that's something that you would need tax planning. His wife passed away at a very young age. So all those things are important to go into your tax plan. All right. Let's talk to Mr. Lenny in Lakeview. Hi, Lenny. How you doing?
Hey, all right.
What can we do for you, sir?
I just had a question on taking a loan out against a 401k.
Yeah.
Okay, on the taxes, they say that they have to take 20%, correct?
No, not if it's a
Not
loan.
if it's a loan.
See,
Well,
if it's a loan against your 401k,
Okay.
then what they're going to do is you have to pay it back within 5 years, and a loan is not taxable. So like our gentleman who had that liability, he's going to borrow his own money, and he's going to pay his own self back within 5 years.
Oh, see, because when I talked to the people at the 401ks, they said, no, they have to take 20%.
Okay, then that's not a loan, that's a distribution.
Yes,
that's what I thought.
And
too.
a loan is the most preferential way you can do it if you can live within that 5-year payback.
Some 401ks won't let you, or they don't have the ability to let you get a loan on it.
Right, but if you can borrow it, you're borrowing your own money as opposed to taking the distribution. That's much better, because if you take the distribution, then it's subject to penalty if you're under the age of 59 and a half, and income taxes, state and federal.
Okay, well, I'm over that.
Okay.
But I just wondered, because I said loan, and they said, yes, you can take up to half
No,
of it.
a loan is a loan. Distribution is something else.
Okay, because I did it once before, okay, and they said it was a loan.
Are you sure? You know, and here's the other thing that I've learned about people. Sometimes you're talking to person A, and you say loan, and they got it. And sometimes you talk to person B, and you say loan, and they're thinking distribution, and they're answering you the wrong way. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the two of you are on the same wavelength. Because if your company will allow a loan and this person is saying, no, we won't, then I think I would press it and say, I don't know, I borrowed money before. How come I can't do it now?
Well, see, I borrowed it before and paid it back into 5 years, but it
Right.
wasn't that much.
Right.
But they took 20% right off the top.
No, then you didn't borrow it. They did. That was a distribution, Lenny.
Then why did I have to pay it back?
Because it's a loan.
But he said he had to pay taxes on it.
No, they
withholdings.
wouldn't have. They wouldn't have taken up. I think we're mixing up
apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges, because on a loan, the only time you do withholding is if it was going to be taxable. A loan is not taxable.
Okay, see, what I did is I took out, before was $5,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they charged me 20% because EG Tax did it, one of your branches, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then they took so much out of my check every week.
Wait,
to
what
pay it
year,
back.
Lenny? What year was this done?
That was 5 years ago.
Oh,
6
Christ.
years ago.
Well, I got the database, and if you email me at my office at go to egtax.com and ask me a tax question, get me this thing, because this should not have happened. So I want to look at it, okay? So this way I can make it clear. All right?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Lenny. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 2.5 days will get you done. April the 18th is the deadline. Have a great week. When we talk to you next week, we'll be free, almighty. Thank God Almighty, free at last. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.